Okay, boom. It's your boy Kamal Hart, and we're on the chart. We're going bar by bar. Full disclaimer, today's been a pretty long day traveling for work and getting back home. I didn't even get to trade today. My flight was right during the open and stuff. So I've been up all day, pretty tired. Um, I think now's a good time to talk about like trading when you're tired. I think it's probably not a good idea. Um, I never take my own advice when it comes to that, but your guard needs to be up all the time mentally. And when you're tired, when you're sick, when you're too emotional about shit going on in life, um, there are going to be lapses in your judgment. So maybe luck will be on your side and you'll pick the right entry, but maybe you'll self sabotage it anyway. So keep that in mind. Always take a little bit of a check on yourself and make sure you're in the zone, quote unquote. And that's just a place of personal power and personal self-discipline, especially when no one is looking. So, yeah, a lot of this is psychology, even though I'm only talking about the charts in these videos. Your success is completely in your mind and the way you relate to your mental state. So, you know, always be observing yourself, and we're going to jump right in it. So, I haven't seen a lot of this price action. I'm going to be doing this kind of for the first time myself. That would be cool. So, bear with me if I get some wrong trades. We're gonna learn regardless. See, there was a measure move there from that leg, a little two-legged pullback and a move, and it didn't make it, and it reversed. So here's the reversal pattern right here. It's a little early, 8:30, but off that high, you'd go short right there. It's confirming this thing. So when it doesn't make a measured move and falls short, maybe the market is weak. I don't really take that as something written in stone, but when you're really dialed in, I'm talking about 1,000% dialed in, little things like that are clues. So that would have been your second entry short. Here's a second entry to the lows. It's going a little sideways. Not a good signal bar, but it's off this trend line. Um, I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to suggest taking it, but it's there. And then here's another second entry. It's also going sideways. This is a little better though. I like how, see how this swing is lower than that swing. Um, and then that signal bar is really good. So we're just looking for it to test here, probably test here. Um, if you want to get a more accurate target, so like whenever you do take a trade, your targets are always going to be your scalp, and then they're going to be your leg on the bottom side of the trend. And then for a more creative target, when you take this measured move of like one, bring that to the highs of the leg that's forming. And it's funny how many times that this leg will match up to the channel that was totally not planned, but they both end in that same place. That could mean nothing, but that happens a lot. It's weird. But I want to take a short there, and I have those different targets. It's like beautifully, um, beautifully. That's been my issue actually for this past month is that I've been doing decent enough where I haven't lost a trade in a little bit, and it's kind of creating anxiety because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna lose eventually, um, but when, when and how? But yeah, when you take the good ones early, you're in and out. You're done. So then you get a lower high. But if you were to extend this, first off, look how far we are from the EMA. So we're not even that far. We're not going off the EMA. Um, and you're kind of in the middle. You know, we just hit the measured move target, not where I want to go short. Gets a little pullback, and if you look at this channel, potentially there's a breakout, a leg down, um, pulls back to the EMA. That was the first entry. That signal bar on my chart isn't really good, just the first entry. It moved higher than these highs. I'm just waiting. But you know, this looks more like an like a intentional pullback. Like when this broke out, it feels sloppy. But this seems like, and you can see the two legs in there. There's a leg, pause bar, and then another leg. So that's like very intentional. So when this shoots off, I wasn't really too surprised by that. It's just not a great signal.
Connection.
Um, that reminds me, let me just go ahead and put this on before I start getting messages. Okay, I had a little bit of a break that I had to deal with, but if we're here, there's been a move. There's been a move outside, and see how this bar is inside of this bar, it's inside of that bar. Um, I'd be careful with that. Put that there, and then have to try to set it up so that it shorts like there. That's a nice, really nice short. Um, I only don't like it because we had that break and it moved to a new low, but it's it's fairly small. So yeah, that one does pretty good. Even though it's a first entry to the lows, it's a you know, like range rules. It's just a good signal bar at the highs of a range. Those work, and you can see the two legs. There's a leg there. So like I use a 2,000 tick chart, but if you were using maybe 1,000 tick chart, you would see a leg up. It broke lower once, and then it went higher, and then that bar set up. So on a lower time frame, um, that's going to be a second entry short. So that was a good spot. Getting, you know, anything short here is a little bit too late. You can see actually there's some matching lows or some low retests right there. So maybe there's some congestion popping up, breaks lower. Depending on how you managed this, you might still be in because this is your most recent swing and it didn't hit your break even. Well, it would have hit your, no, so it didn't hit your break even plus one, but that's also where your safety stop still is. So I'm gonna find a way to cover some of this. I'd probably cover around there, that doji. Um, Big bullish bar pullback. We're not gonna try to go long yet. See if your stop's right there. You're still playing game. Um, that's too low, too dramatic. It's first entry to the low. It's not off the EMA. It's not even really off our trend lines anymore. Um, we're gonna wait. Um, that's just nothing we can work with, unfortunately. Um, here's the, it's not even a failed second entry really, because it'd be off these highs, first entry. So, you know, that's the only way you could have shorted that is off these highs. That was the failed second entry. Just probably a little too aggressive. Um, Probably a little too aggressive. So nothing there. You're just waiting, I think, to get a feel for how long you're going to be waiting for. Um, why not take this leg, those two legs in there, bring it to the highs. So right there, you got I measured two legs down. And even on the overall day to day, we have these lows over here too, back in over here. So let's see what it does. This thing shoots off. That's an interesting place to go long, but can't say I trust it. So that's the higher low. Signal bar isn't that great. Um, it's okay trigger bar, but it's kind of going sideways a little. If it breaks above here, it's the failed second entry short. Sheesh. I don't like that it broke lower than the higher low. It's kind of a double bottom there. I think you should wait, but there also is a entry there. Yeah, that breaks above. Boom. Just to that EMA. So targets for that, of course, your scalp. I guess the EMA. I don't know where else you could have really, just based off of this information, these lows over here or something like that could be your next target, I guess. How close to those do we get? Just a tick off. And yeah, wow, bounced right off them. So this started below. I guess these are swings. And it went above the EMA. So we need to take note of that. Got that it's going sideways and starting to break out. Broke out. Pull back. So there should be another entry right there. It's a really good signal bar too. A little sketched just because of the kind of looks like it breaks out, makes a new high, pulls back, and once again, see how this one went lower than the higher low? That always sketches me out. But it works. And then now for that trade, as you see that it's working, measure that leg, bring it up here, and then that's your new target for your runners and stuff. This is a higher low, but it's not really off the trend line or the EMA. I would just hold. I'm not going to add more. Yeah, and it breaks above and reverses. Here's a second entry long. Off the EMA. If you look at this trend line, there's a break, two legs to a new high. Not to say that this isn't necessarily a good trade, but I know things you don't. This one I don't think works. Boom. So when you get stopped out here, that's just trading. Nothing's 100%. If you were doing your job, you definitely didn't even need this trade. This is a reversal pattern. See this big red bar? That's a reversal pattern. The thing about it though is that we have the 3 inside bar going on. And so that's That's what that is. That's some congestion, and you have to sell out of the congestion. So I wouldn't necessarily just reverse when you get stopped out there. I think you just got to eat that and see what happens. Pulls back. It's kind of a breakout pullback. There's a close outside of the range, and then there's a close back inside the range, and now it's closing outside of the range. That's a breakout pullback. I'm not 100% comfortable, so nah. That's the higher low. Kind of another range in there. Here's the failed second entry long right there when it broke above. It's there, so I guess you should take it. It's not looking too hot. As we see the setup, if you entered here, one thing I'm starting to notice a little sooner is that, okay, the failed second entry hit, it triggered, it closed, and then the next bar, we always say that when this trade happens, that this next bar needs to close outside of the open and close of the trigger bar. So once you saw that this bar closed inside, that's actually your first sign that this trade isn't going to work. So, I think it's the little technical things like that that you should use to decide when to scratch a trade. Like, don't scratch because a bar looks weird. Scratch because like that little rule right there. It's like, ah, man, I gotta scratch this. Whether it works or not, I gotta scratch this. And you would have gotten out there. It's got to be break even or break even plus one. Anything more than that really isn't a scratch. You might not have got out break even plus one. So the next best thing is I got to move my stop loss up to my swings. So once it broke above right there, this was your new swing, and your stop now goes right there. That's scratch procedure. It's like you're limiting the loss, and you're leaving yourself a way to at least get out, commissions paid for, and reset. So actually, you do get out break even plus one, and then if not, you would have, if you've seen it fast enough. Okay, so we had just moved our stop here, one tick there. When this bar breaks above here, that's a swing. So boom, now the stop is one tick below these areas right there. So then when this reversed, you would have got out even better. It's the only way to manage your loss on this one. See, you didn't really get an opportunity. Where was that one that failed? Yeah, see, on this one, you didn't really get an opportunity to manage the loss because it broke above. It broke above and reversed all in the same bar. Those are just the ones you got to eat. But when it breaks above and then gives you all of these, it's kind of your chance to like manage. Each time I'm losing a little less. But you would have scalped out or scratched out if you had it set up. You almost scalped out on the limit. 75. Yeah, 4-tick fail on the limit order. Oh well. So that's 2 now. That's kind of, I don't know. I think if you really go back and look at some of the rules, I think this trade, it's, so let's look at the breakout pullback rules. When we started going higher here, it broke out, but it didn't close out. It closed back in. And then this one set up the pattern. So you're going long on the wrong side of the breakout, because this is just the breakout. When it closed, that's the breakout. This is the pullback, and it doesn't, I guess by a tick. By a tick, it closes inside. So like this is the breakout pullback. This is buying the breakout. even though you have the technical pattern, um, it hasn't. That's not where you want to take that pattern on breakouts. Okay, moving on. Some congestion right there. It's pretty much at the lows. So I would just like not using many lines today. Sometimes I like to just look at the chart for what it is. But the lines help, especially when it starts getting like this. So you have your congestion there, kind of breaks out. I kind of want to make this line up here just because it's bigger. That's the first entry to that low. That's a higher low, but the signal bar is not that great. It breaks out again. So it's trending higher. It's higher lows. But it's kind of congested, so we just need to wait. If it breaks below here, it's a second entry short. Boom, boom. I don't know about that. And that fails. It's kind of a doji. Here's a reversal pattern. Once again, it's like, okay, so where's the breakout pullback? I don't see it. And that fails too. So yeah, like if I see, so imagine this, you're super tired today, you trade today, you get to an area like this where this is pretty nasty. There's a lot of places to like fuck it up in here. And you're tired and just buying and selling. And it's just funny how it works. It will give you the perfect storm sometimes. Um, so some days the best trade is no trade. So if I see a bunch of these fail, I mean, usually, like I said, I'm done first hour, hour and a half. I mean, if you made these, you're not even worried about all this in here. But maybe if you start late or, you're trading this session, a lot of places to get tripped up. That's a first entry long. Here's a higher low engulfing bar. Man, it looks really good, but it's not set up. So I'm just gonna wait. It does pretty okay. And then here you get that reversal pattern. If you weren't on it immediately, that's things already kind of moved without you. But you're probably taking that trade on the wrong side of the midline anyway. So it's something we're gonna have to skip. Yeah, like that would have set up on this side. So nah. Nothing yet off the highs, so we need to count off the lows. See that little congestion there to there, little micro story going on. Here's the higher low. It's not a good setup. Here's the failed second entry. That's a really good setup, but it's on the wrong side. You have to skip it. Okay, so here's a good lesson. It was hard to skip this one. I really, deep down, was like, dude, just take it. But let's look at this. 31.11. So your limit order exits the scalp. If you entered on a stop, that's a 4-tick loser. It's on the wrong side of the range every time. It's so small. It seems like, oh, it doesn't matter this time. That's the one thing you have to get in your head, I think, when it comes to trading, is that there's no such thing as like, it doesn't matter this time. Like, you can work yourself up to a place where you're like, oh, well, this time I'm just gonna finesse it. No, don't. You know what I mean? Like, don't finesse shit. Just do the rule. Do the rule. That's your best bet. It's funny how every time I'll get you. Okay, it's coming down. We need to try to buy down here. Not a good signal. Second entry long. That's a good like signal bar, but it's inside. Nothing there. Here's the higher low. It's just too aggressive for me. It looks like it kind of works. 25. Yeah, you got that. You would have got that, but it ain't that great. Here's the failed second entry, but wrong side. Um, I kind of went too fast. This big red bar, I mean, the only reason, here's a good point. The only reason I'm even thinking about buying this big red bar, because there's no pattern off the lows. It broke higher than all the previous swings. Only reason I'm thinking about buying this is because it's been so long since my last trade. It's 10:28. Yeah, it's like 1:30. It's been, 3 hours with nothing. So so of course I'm thinking about like trying to trade this. Like it's funny. Man, this game is so mental. So no, there's an aggressive setup, but we're not focused on things like that right now. So no, there's nothing there. Boom, and you lose. And you lose if you take it. This is if you're a newbie trader, just screenshot this chart and go tick by tick until you understand it. If you can trade this stuff, you will, like, the day you can trade this, you're going to be on your way. This is perfect for not a noob because you're going to lose all your money, but like your test. Just go to where it's congested, and if you can make it out of there with no trades, like, good for you. So I'm gonna give myself a little pat on the back because this is nasty. Um, hey, okay, we're back at it. Here's the home stretch. Um, there's a double bottom right there, um, making that like a higher low. Just too nasty. So I'm just waiting. Here's the failed second entry off this double bottom, and there's another double bottom. Um, is that a good trade? Well, let's look at it since we have at least one more bar. Sure, maybe you did take it. It breaks above and closes back inside. Scratch protocol. So either way, whether you're in or not, you're getting ready to scratch this trade. Boom, and you're out. See, like there, man, that just wasn't a good signal bar. There's your second entry long off the EMA. That's kind of the failed second entry pattern that sets up on the EMA, but was not a good signal. So if you're still trading, just like go home, right? Like, don't. What are you doing? Um, there's for sure a trend, and even the trend was kind of back in here. But I like to see this little pattern before I give it a trend, because most times it's just going to break out and come back in, stuff like that. So at least now I can kind of respect maybe a trend line if we get trades. Sideways, it's only like 20 minutes left, so probably nothing. Low, higher, low, bad signal bar. Here's the breakout. That thing breaks out. That thing comes right back into this range. So Yeah, not much going on in the afternoon today. Like, I wonder if this will work. This is a setup. Maybe you'll get another leg like this leg. Mm, nah, doesn't work. But that's well into 3 o'clock. That's set up at 3. Oh no, wow. All this happened really fast. It's not even 3 o'clock yet. There we go. Yeah, just I haven't seen that pattern. Mm, I hate to say ever, but it's looking real unfamiliar. Just a big leg like that goes sideways and then like stair steps up or like creeps up. I'd usually maybe think it like, you know, something. Okay, that's it for today. I didn't get to trade this live, like I said, but yeah, all the good entries were early. Everything during the day in here, I just didn't really see them. So maybe if you had better signal bars down here, better signal bars over here, you probably could have gotten in. I just didn't have them. So that's the story for today. We'll be back again tomorrow to do it again. Until then, see y'all.